Hello again, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. We are going to keep working on our figure, and now I'm going to revisit some of the wear and tear on the gauntlets and the lower legs here, and I'm going to be using Army Painter Skeleton Bone. This is really nice, earthy bone color. Call it what it is. Um, this actually works really well with the combination of paint I've already got on the figure to create some sand, or again using kind of my head cannon, or even source material, some moon rock, or moon dust. So I'm just going to want to go real light. You don't need a lot. A little will go a long way. And I'm just going to start with the edges of this gauntlet, um, kind of framing it in and just being very deliberate. I'm actually using a couple of the bristles as very like a fine little, I don't want to say spotter, but a place where I can get a more even distribution of paint onto the surface. And now I'm going to go over the whole surface and give it a light touch. I'm going to rotate the figure so I'm just very gently putting paint onto the surface here. But I will add more on the very outer edge where it would naturally, where the Darby's arm would naturally come into more contact. On the inside, just going light. And I'm actually not super happy with that line right there, so I'm literally going to lick my thumb and I'm going to rub it off like that. Using my paper towel, dry my fingers, and then I'm just going to dab that surface, and then I'm going to go back at it again, and I'm going to retry because it just went, there was too much of it on, it was too concentrated, wasn't happy with it. So there we go. I'm liking that a lot better. Yes. Okay. And then over on the green, I'm going to repeat the same process. Actually, let's get some more brush. When I pulled the paint off this time, you noticed me rubbing or rolling the brush while I was pulling it out. A little bit different technique as compared to just getting it ready to dry brush. I'll show you that again. So, got paint in, I'm just rolling it through. What I'm doing is I'm coating those outside bristles to get me the effect I want. So, again, go on the outside. Now, because we're painting over the green as compared to that lighter earthy color, this is going to have a way bigger impact. You're going to see color really jump out at you. I actually got a bristle right there, so we'll just rub that out. Not a problem. Go here. Oh, yeah. Yep. All right. And now we're going to do the same thing. Light on the inside, a little heavier on the outside. That's nice. And then heaviest on the surface that would get the most contact. Should be right there. I'm really liking that actually. A lot, a lot, a lot. Nice. Yeah. That's nice. And if you go back in, you're like, okay, I need to get some in some of these, in these tight spots. Just rotate the brush, where the bristles are jabbing right down in there. You get it. I'm happy with that. Now we do the lower legs, and we pull out the majority of the paint like we typically would for dry brushing. And now we're going to go light, very light. You'll see here I'm closer to the ferrule, gives me more control and more force. As I back my fingers up further away from the ferrule, I've also got a longer range of motion, and I can very lightly feather the paint onto the surface that I want. This does take some skill and getting used to, but I know you can do it. It's just a matter of practice and doing it and getting comfortable. And like I just showed you on the gauntlet, if you're doing it and you're not happy with it, rub the paint off, take it off, and then go at it again. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to pull out even more because I'm going to go on the inside of here, and I just want this to be right. I don't want to really hit this. And so what we're doing is we're actually building up our layers through dry brushing. And because some people might say, well, why don't you just paint it, base and one dry brush, and then you're good. Well, you could do that, but I really want to give this character a gritty feel, as though he's been on some planets. He's done some stuff. I want to hit these higher points a little more. I'm really happy with how this is shaping up to be. And hopefully in your own painting, you're noticing progress and you're enjoying it. I think enjoyment taking more importance over progress, because when you enjoy it, the progress will come. But if you're focused solely on progression, you're not enjoying it, I don't know about you, but harder to get motivated, harder to want to keep painting. So that side is done, and now we're just going to repeat the process over here. Again, on the outside, I'm okay with there being more paint because that's the surface that comes into more contact with environment, landscape, you name it. Behind the legs, I will hit those. So I'm going to have, I was about to say even distribution, but what I mean to say is I don't want there to be a surface that just doesn't get any treatment whatsoever. Almost like, oh, well, that never came into contact, but yet everything else did. Because when you're viewing it, it's a little bit different than when you're painting it. And sometimes you need to step away from your workshop or your studio or what have you, and just look at the paint. Look at the piece that you're painting and view it as though you would just be looking at it in its completed stage, whether it was painted by you, one of your favorite customizers, or anyone, and just look at the figure and say, okay, what does it need? And right now, I'm really digging this guy. He's really coming around nicely. So there we are, and I'll see you in the next. Thanks.